Boris Johnson should not fall into the same trade deal trap as the EU when securing agreements around the world, an economist warned Express. Mr. Johnson and the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen earlier this week have agreed the importance of finding a post-Brexit deal. It came as talks between Westminster and Brussels entered yet another round. The Prime Minister's October 15 deadline for a deal to be struck is fast approaching. Reports in past weeks suggest both parties are quietly confident that a deal will be reached in time. Both Mr. Johnson and Ms. von der Leyen have instructed their chief negotiators, the UK's David Frost and EU's Michel Barnier, to work intensively in order to try to bridge the gaps that have so far eluded an agreement. These include key issues like fishing rights and government subsidies. As the end of the transition period approaches, the UK has begun to look elsewhere to secure trade deals. Last month, it achieved its historic first free trade agreement (FTA) with Japan. Next in line are countries like the US. In agreeing FTAs, Mark Littlewood, the Director General of the Institute of Economic Affairs (IEA), urged Mr. Johnson not to make the same mistakes as the EU in its trade dealings abroad during an interview with Express.co.uk. He explained, on trade deals, I hope the government doesn't fall into the trap that the EU is always falling into. We shouldn't look at achieving a trade deal as being the full and final word on our relationship with a country, the one that ends in there it is, here is the text and that is what our trading relationship will be forevermore, a sort of single undertaking. If we can make piecemeal agreements with the US or indeed the EU or any other country, where we might be able to agree on one particular aspect of manufacturing but not on any aspect of agriculture, for example, then I think it's worth putting through those too. We could then return to the table perhaps year on year to try and get new deals through, rather than having this view that we must produce a single comprehensive document that covers absolutely every area of economic activity. If we can agree on some areas but not others, let's get a deal in those areas we can agree on and keep returning to the negotiating table to try and get breakthroughs on areas that we can't.